Saving $1 million for retirement is easier than you think. All you need is time. Start with an IRA, an individual retirement account. At present, you may contribute up to $6,000 per year. If you're 50 or older, you may contribute an extra $1,000 or $7,000 per year. $6,000 is a long way from $1 million. How are you going to get there? Let's say you start contributing at age 25. Obviously, you can start earlier. You may even start as a teenager, as long as you have earned income, in other words, a job. But considering you may be spending your early 20s in school or simply have little to save, in this example, we'll start at age 25. From age 25 to 49, you'll contribute $6,000 per year, and from age 50 and on, you'll contribute $7,000 per year. From just these contributions alone, you'll accumulate $150,000 by age 50, and by age 65, when you may be ready to retire, you have a total of $262,000? Although a decent amount, that is a far cry from $1 million. For your million, you'll need compound interest. How does compound interest work? Let's say you have $100 that you save for a year at a 5% rate of return. After 1 year, you have $105. Your original $100 plus $5 in interest. What happens after 2 years? Do you have A, $105, B, $110, C, $110.25? If you pick C, $110.25, you are correct. The beauty of compound interest is that you make interest on both your principal, the original amount, plus interest on all the interest you've earned so far. In year 2, you started with $105. You earn another $5 off the original $100 you invested, and you earn an additional 25 cents off the $5 from last year, for a total of $110.25. Sure, in this example, 25 cents isn't very impressive, but over time, it really adds up, as we'll see. Back to our IRA. Presumably, you are putting this money where you can get a decent rate of return. You'll probably invest in a combination of stocks and bonds, or stock funds or bond funds. Depending on your time frame and risk tolerance, your percentage of stocks and bonds will vary. When you're young and have decades to go, you might have mostly stocks. But as you get closer to your retirement date, you may get more conservative and switch some of your funds to safer bonds and money market funds. All of that is completely up to you. It should be obvious, but your rate of return is rarely guaranteed. You'll have some good years and a few bad years, but over time, you should come out ahead. But for illustration purposes, we'll look at several fixed rates. For a conservative portfolio of mostly bonds, an average 5% return is not unreasonable. Not quite $1 million. Let's try to be a tad more aggressive with your investing. If you raise the percentage of stocks relative to bonds, you may see a higher return. Let's try 7%. Congratulations! In this example, you hit $1 million after 38 years of saving. What about 8%? You hit $1 million earlier, at age 59. Historically, the stock market has made around 9 to 10% annually, assuming you average over many years. So with an aggressive growth portfolio containing a high percentage of stocks, you could hit $1 million around age 57. But again, nothing is guaranteed. The point is that if you start saving early, a relatively small amount can add up significantly. If you wish to make $1 million sooner or with a safer rate of return, then you'll have to save more. If you have a 401k account at your employer, you may contribute up to $19,500 every year. If you're 50 and above, that increases to $26,000. If you have a generous employer, they may even throw in matching funds, which will give you even more. As $19,500 is a lot of money to set aside every year, we'll start our illustration at age 35 when your career is more established. But again, you can always put money in at a younger age. At a 5% return, you won't reach $1 million with your IRA. Well, unless you keep working past age 65. But you will hit $1 million with your 401k before age 60. Yes, you can contribute to both an IRA and a 401k, but if your income is high, then there are limitations to the IRA. But that's a subject for a different video. What about an aggressive 9%? Both scenarios will get you to $1 million. But note that your 401k will hit the target only 3 years before the IRA. Remember, in this example, you started saving in your 401k 10 years later than the IRA. Thanks to the magic of compound interest, if you start saving early, you won't need to put aside as much per year. There's one last thing you shouldn't forget about: inflation. After 40 years, $1 million is not going to buy as much as it does today. So if you want $1 million in today's dollars, you have to make a little math adjustment. Inflation has been low for the last decade or so, but 2 to 3% is a good rough estimate. In other words, things may cost 2% more this year than they did last year. And yes, inflation compounds as well. There is an equation to calculate your inflation-adjusted return. But for a rough estimate, simply subtract inflation from your rate of return. If you're aiming for an 8% return, what you're actually getting is around 5% after inflation. Another way to look at this, if you liked this 5% return scenario, in order to achieve it, you'll need to invest more aggressively and get an 8% return. What have we learned? First, save early. Even setting aside a small amount each month will grow, thanks to the magic of compound interest. 2, use an IRA or an employer-sponsored retirement plan. These plans have added tax advantages, allowing you to save even more. 3, if your employer offers matching funds, save enough to get those funds. I mean, it's free money. Because you have no idea what your rate of return will be from year to year, you'll need to save more than you think you'll need. And finally, don't forget about inflation. Good luck! If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. What other videos on personal finance would you like to see? Leave your suggestions in the comments below. Bye-bye!